if I'm in the business support sector, I don't see how I'm supporting people by making them fill out a form for 6 hours. Okay, it's Monday morning and I'm off to my first appointment of the week, which is with a bed and breakfast. It's a smallish company, as these businesses normally are, but no less important, probably no less complicated, probably more complicated, because obviously they have to do everything themselves. One of those things they do themselves is marketing, and that's why they've asked me to come along. They have a website which is quite old, and old in website terms is 5 years. It's quite basic. It's built in HTML. It's not built using, blogging software like WordPress. And they feel that they need to upgrade, whatever that means. My job, I think, today is to go and tell them what that means, how they can upgrade it for free or very cheaply within the budget constraints they may or may not have, and yes, give them some tips and experience from having done that many times. I'm sure we'll be talking about Google and Google ranking, mobile responsiveness, all these buzzwords that Google tries to throw at us now and then and people make industries of. That's what I'm expecting, is to have a conversation around a very simple, oldish website, talking about how we can bring all their great sales content into today's technology, get more visitors, get more money, yes, make life easier. That's what I expect. I always say this. What will actually happen, I have no idea. But we'll see. That's today. I'll update you when I've finished the meeting. Just came out of the meeting, heading back to the office. The meeting was very much what I expected, I think. The only thing I didn't expect is when you look at the website, it looks nice, it's nice accommodation, and I had a perception of what it was. It was nothing like what it was. It was an amazing location. They had 7 apartments, one bed and breakfast. It was like a holiday complex, really, but a luxury one in grounds which were beautiful. Amazing place. That's probably the first point, right? If I could look at your website and I've never been there, I need to look at a website and say, it's amazing, because it is. Not, yeah, that looks okay, which I think is the current situation. So we looked at the website, we talked about ranking and moving up to Google page 1. And at the moment, the site's very old-fashioned, built maybe 7 years ago, very text-heavy, built using Dreamweaver, if anybody knows or remembers what that is. Certainly not database driven, not WordPress plugins, all that kind of thing. So old-fashioned, beautiful photos, but old-fashioned. And his first question to me is, shall I get rid of it? Shall we do a WordPress site? My answer was no, definitely not. Let's check. And that's important. If you meet any web developer, very much they'll try and persuade you that you need to do something new or upgrade the website or change something or mobile responsive, all that sort of stuff. Fine, that's important, but hang on a minute. Let's just see if what we have already works, even if it's just average looking. Because I would rather have an okay site that's good enough, that gets looked at by lots of people, page 1 on Google, than an all singing, all dancing, beautiful, design heavy website that gets looked at by no one. And unfortunately, that's page 3 of Google. They've done studies on this that only 95% or 95% of people look at page 1 links. Only 5% get past page 1. 5%, that's 1 in 20 will look onto page 2. Page 3, forget it. Okay? So, let's check the average site and see if it's in the click zone, page 1. And it wasn't. But it was nearly. It was on page 2. 15th on Google. That's page 2 halfway down. He was very pleased with that because obviously he built the site, had it built for him, And that in the face of it looks good. Wow, I'm page 2, halfway down. That's rubbish, right? Because no one clicks page 2, 1 in 20. But it's also fantastic because Google must like what he did with the website. This is how you check whether a website is liked by Google. You do the search, and if you're in the list halfway down page 2, Google thinks positive things about your website. That means I can make small changes and move up lots of places, or at least half a page. And think what difference that would make to his company. Halfway down page 2, 1 in 20 people look. Halfway down page 1, 25% of people are clicking you, 20%. It's a massive difference. So it's all about being seen. We are not going to throw away the old site. In fact, we're going to do hardly anything to it to start with. We're going to tweak it. We're going to change the way it's set up from an optimization perspective. Change the title tag, the meta description, one line on the page. That is it, because I don't want to change it too much. Because if I change web pages, what goes up can go down. I want to do minor changes initially to see if I can just move up from halfway down page 2 to halfway down page 1. Halfway down page 1, lots of people. Halfway down page 2, no one. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to do anything fancy yet. We know that Google likes the page. It's halfway down. We're going to try and bring it onto page 1, and I'm confident it will do it because the site was not optimized yet. It was, there are things we could do. The second thing we did, which we discovered whilst we were doing it, was his Google Plus page. He had set up his Google Plus page, and it looked good. There were photos and profiles and so on, but he did not appear in local search results. Let me explain quickly what that is. If I do a local search result such as luxury apartment location, Google prioritizes local results because they say, well, they're looking for local providers. Now, if you haven't indexed your Google Plus page, given it a tag in the right category, you won't appear. Primary search, luxury apartments and the location concerned. When you did that search on Google, just two companies showed on the map of local search results on page 1. You don't need to do search engine optimization for that. They prioritize it just because you're local. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, we changed his Google Plus page, put a couple of words in, bang, he's on page 1 of Google for the primary search on the map. 1 of 3. He's the top 1 of the 3. 5 minutes. If you know what you're doing, you know where to put the words in, you can make a big difference. It's got nothing to do with keyword optimization on a website. That's hard. What's easy is to say, I'm the local provider on the map, this is the right terminology to describe me, and please show me. Already live, it happened live, 5 minutes. Going from 5 years of never appearing in local search results on Google to page 1, top link, 5 minutes. He's quite pleased with that, because obviously he will be seen by thousands of people because of that, who he wouldn't have been seen by before. Finally, we will do social media with him and do all that kind of stuff, but let's go for quick wins. That's my general approach on everything. Quick wins first. Google Plus, move up to page 1. Just finally, a bit of an aside. When I was leaving, and he's paid for this work using a grant, what they call a funding voucher, all my time is paid for, and he's pleased with that, obviously, but he did say to me at the end that he thought the process to apply was, my words not his, crazy. He claimed 6 hours of my time working with a specialist. 6 hours, okay? To apply took him 6 hours. He had to open up the communication, speak to somebody by telephone, fill out a form, send off the form. Then had to wait and chase them, because they forgot him, but that's another story. After that, he then had to go for an interview, which was 30 miles from where he's located. This is the leader of a business, right? 30 miles from where he's located. He had to spend 3 hours up there and then come home. 6 hours of a business leader's time to apply for a voucher, a grant, to get 6 hours of a consultant's time. Now, I'm not in the business support sector, the funding circle anymore. That's not what we do, we're consultants. But I have worked in there, and I understand, which is what I was explaining to him, why it's important. To use public money, you must have an audit trail. That means I need paperwork. However, as he said, that can't be right. You can't take 6 hours of a business leader's time doing admin, not adding value, filling out forms and being interviewed, to claim 6 hours of a consultant's time. there's something wrong with the scheme. And that's not uncommon. That is common practice in business support, is the admin is heavy because they need to protect themselves. Well, if I'm in the business support sector, I don't see how I'm supporting people by making them fill out a form for 6 hours. Albeit, I'm grateful for them giving the grant out to pay for my work. Don't get me wrong. I just thought I'd raise it. There must be a better way. There must be a simpler way, and let's lighten the admin. Let's not make somebody spend 6 hours doing non-value adding work for any reason. That's it. That's the update. It was a good meeting. I enjoyed it. Amazing location. Really clever business person, and raised some interesting points. See you next time.